Welcome once again to this part of the UI design course. From our last session, you might have remembered that we I showed you how you can actually design a low fidelity wireframe. So this is going to be the part 2 of the tutorial of low fidelity wireframe. So I might also consider teaching you some other things along with this as well. So let's begin. So what you're actually seeing before you right now is a design that I've actually made I think a year ago. I actually made it a year ago. I just had the opportunity to design the hero section. Remember when I mentioned about hero section? Hero section is the first section of a website. So I'm actually going to show you. Actually, I while creating this hero section of this website, I actually created two for my clients to see which one my clients would actually prefer best. So this is actually second one. So anyone you might actually prefer one to the other, stuff like that. But actually the client preferred this first one. So today I'm going to be teaching you how I designed a wireframe to help me to be able to design something like this. So it's just like now we are going to be creating the skeleton that we are going to be designing the skeleton of this one that I've already been designed. Last class I showed you how you can actually design a wireframe from scratch, but in this one we are going to design it from actually something from a website that has already been there before. So let's go to our design screen. So this is the hero section of the website for profile. So I think it's this one that we're working on. So let me hide this somewhere. So let's go back to this. So for us to we designed a wireframe of this. We are going to go to this place to get um what they call it, to get the wire to get the frame. So last time I used wireframe, or you can use desktop or wireframe since they're actually the same size, or I can still prefer using wireframe. So remember I said that I went to this place, or you can just short press F to move to this place. So okay, sorry. So I think this place is actually shorter, so let me make it a little bit shorter. So I think they actually design same size right now. The height 946, the height of this one 946. So they're equal. So you might actually this is actually fun to do. So you after I've actually taught you how to create and design the wireframe of a website that already exists, I can advise that you should just go um research on some websites that you can actually use, and during your fun time, just design a low fidelity wireframe from it. Then you can actually start designing your own from scratch. So let's begin with this. So if you remember, I talked about logo. I talked about how a placeholder image can represent a logo or a image, just like this, a logo or image. So let's go there. get to create a rectangle to, you know, have this, probably a square. So let me do this. So if you remember, with this rectangle or square, I will also need to draw diagonal lines across it. Make sure they are at the end of each angle of the square. So if you remember also, I can duplicate this by pressing Ctrl D. It's already duplicated. See, line 5, line 6. That means there are actually 2 lines there already. So then I will tap on one of the lines, maybe line 5 or line 6, and I will press this, and then it has already bring me a diagonal, 2 diagonal lines. So this is already representing the logo of the hero section of that website. So let me make this into a group. You can use Ctrl G for this. You can use Ctrl G for this. You select it all, or you can select this and then use Shift to select it individually. And once I've selected it all, then you can just press Ctrl G. You can see it's already in the group. So for this navigation menus, if you remember, I can use a line to do this. And remember, there's actually something that you can use while building a real website. But since this is, although I will actually teach you something that you need to do before starting to build any website. Although since this is still a low fidelity wireframe, it does not really require that. So that's why I'm not teaching it yet. But when we start designing real websites, real apps, I will show you what you need to do before starting and on designing anything. So let's make a line. Oh, sorry, I actually went to the shorts one by pressing L. Remember, you go here, then see L, then make the line. I think the line was 6 with a button by the right. Remember, okay. You see, I'm having trouble making it straight, So all you just need to do is press Shift, and it will automatically make it straight while you are still holding, while you are still pressing it. So that's it, made it straight for me. So I'm just going to press Alt. Remember, I'll press Alt, then drag it here. Remember, don't make it to be away from this line. Or if you don't want to like make any mistake by being it away from this line, remember, if you want anything to be perfect, just remember that Shift is there. Anything that you want to be perfect, Shift works for it. Or you can just use Shift to, it, no matter where you go, it will still help you maintain that line. But if I remove one from Shift, see, so remember, Shift is to make things perfect. So let me leave it out. Okay, 51. I'll come back to edit it to 50. So now I already left it at this. So instead of me, let me drag this again. instead of me to just be dragging this, let me say 40, and then drag it again, you know. Okay, sorry. um, Let me leave it at 40, and instead of me what's this sorry, um 40, let me leave the distance as 40. So you can see that there are actually two lines. If I should press on alt again, it's still going to be taking a lot of time till I make everything 6. So you can just easily do like this. Delete this. You can still go ahead to use that alt and drag it. And when you use that alt to drag it, you can just go ahead to just press duplicate, Control D, Control D, Control D, Control D. You can see like that. So everything here is already 6. So I think let me make everything to be a little bit shorter, so there will be space for this my little guy right here. So I can make everything short at once instead of making each of this individually. So I can make all of this short at once just by going here. The width, I can just reduce the width to, let's say, 100. See, everything is automatically shortened. And then the spacing as well, it has already increased from 40 to 82 because they are already shorter. So let me put it back to 40. Then yeah, I'm starting to think okay, I think it's actually okay, but let me increase the spacing to be 50. Yeah, let me shift it somewhere here. Let me shift it somewhere. So for this action button right here, remember, for you to zoom in and zoom out, you can just press plus and minus. So if you want to create a button like that, remember, instead of just using a rectangle, then you now carry your text, put probably CTA or let me reduce the size. Let me reduce the size to be something like 16. So let's say instead of just using this CTA, oh no, it's so small. Instead of doing it this way, because if I should start increasing this rectangle won't make it increase with it. So instead you can just create your button this way. You will first for write text CTA, then while you've already tapped outside, while it's already having this note right here, this 4 corners, then you can now press Shift A. Now you can can see auto layout added. So you can now go ahead to and note everything. You can see that it will be in the middle. It will automatically be in the middle. And if I don't know something went wrong, and you can see that it is somewhere here, and you are trying to put it, is not actually working, it's not actually being in the middle. Remember, just simply put it in this middle here. This place for you to align to the center, this place for you to align to the top to the top corner. You see, just like that. So just remember this. That is, but although automatically it would already help you fix it in the middle. So let's just leave the button at this, and um, instead of CTA, it's just like a random action that I might just want you to carry out. And note, you might have been seeing me using you might have been seeing me using bold for lots of text. Text can also be tiny like this, so you can actually this is actually where you can edit. Probably you want it to be thin, extra light, regular, medium, simple. Let me just leave it at regular, and let me make this to be filled. And remember, low fidelity don't have nonsense colors. Fidelity doesn't have nonsense colors. Just leave the color as something as this. So let me copy this color code and fix it here. Remember, copy is Ctrl C, Ctrl C, then leave it here. Like, so no matter how I adjust the size of this, it will still be in the middle, unlike this. So let me delete this. This is this. And let me make it tiny. And the text as well. If you remember, if you want to edit what is inside your to layout inside the frame, you can just double tap on it to get it. So let me just, and also if you want to change the font, you can see font is changing. So you can also play with fonts as well. So what did I wanted to come into this? So yeah, just leave it at something like 20. I know what, let me just leave it at that 24. So for me to know that yes, I actually want it to be curved, this is where you can actually make it to be as curved as this. You know that this place have sharp edges. This is where you get it corner radius. So you can just edit it. Probably want it to be, let me see 40. Let me see the result of 40. Perfect. Yeah, I just made it since this place is actually kind of capitals, is in capitals. So having a feeling that I need to make this smaller. So now I'm actually free. So um now these paragraphs are just easy. It's when you want to write the content, that's when you it will start giving you a headache. So you can just make line, just make a line. Remember, shift to make the line perfect. Yes. So do you remember where I actually got the line? I think I pressed L. So I'm going to show you. So just remember, if you see that I'm just like getting into this, just remember all these short lines, because it's just going to be stressful if you are going to all these places to be picking them when you already have your keyboard to get the short key. So line. So I also want to get this. But note, whenever you want to make something to be an headline, you should use you should make the line to be bold, so that you yourself you will understand that it is an headline. Although these places I actually use a funnel strategy to build this. You might not really understand what I just said right there, but actually this might not really be compulsory. So let me just put this here, put this here, and then alt drag and duplicate. So for me to distinguish how these four lines are different, I'll just carry this three. I use shift to select them all and make them bold right here with, so I can just make them to be 5, width to be 5, so it's actually perfect. So I can make this one right here to be maybe 2 or something, so you will know the difference. Also, so all these colors, they are something that you decide on your own. So let me also get this tiny paragraph done. So I'm going to press L. That will lead me to this line here. So I'm going to draw, let me see, 2 lines. Alt drag. So let me get this button again. Just use this. I use Alt and drag it over here. Remember, don't remove while dragging. Don't remove your hand from Alt. Else, if you remove your hand from Alt, this is what's gonna happen. You can see. So just don't do that. It's You have to leave it there before you remove your hand from Alt. Alt should be the last thing you have to remove your hand. So this is what is going to be the real CTA. So I think I should actually make this text to be something like 24, and you can see it will still be in the middle. So then this image, I'm just going to use square. Use square and make it bigger. Should align with this one I right there. Let me use this lines. Then I'm going to duplicate it. Then use it for other side. Then tada, you've add something just as this. And then when someone uses this, yes, say yes, let me actually create something that looks like this or this. So that's just it, everyone. So thanks for watching. See you in the next class.